Hello everyone, this is Mark from Tabletopia here, and welcome to Tabletopia and your Kickstarter campaign.
Hello.
As part of Gen Con Online, which I hope you are enjoying spectacularly. Now, today I'm going to talk through a bit about how Tabletopia can become an integral part of your Kickstarter campaign and its marketing strategy, and a bit about the ways you can use Tabletopia in order to boost your back account. Now, if you have any questions and you're watching live, feel free to shoot through a message in the Twitch. I'll be more than happy to answer them when I get a chance. So let's begin. So a bit about Tabletopia first. Tabletopia is a digital sandbox that lets you play your favorite games online. You probably already enjoyed some of it this weekend, so I won't spend too much time on this. But there's no automation, so a digital sandbox means there's no rules enforcement. That means you can play it your way. We essentially give players the pieces and components, then they play the game. And it's kind of like real life in that way, because you're sitting across from the table with the other players and there's no automation handling things, so it's up to you to sort of control the pieces and pass things to people. And when you couple that with a service like Discord or Zoom, it really gives you that feeling of sitting across the room from someone, which is something we could all use a bit of right now. It's playable in multiple ways, so we're available on web browser, Steam, the Steam application, and we have a limited selection of games on iOS and Android. Now, as a developer, you will be able to opt for your games to be on mobile. Currently, it's a manual process where we have to integrate new games into updates, but very soon we are streamlining the process. So when you upload a game to Tabletopia, it can then also, if you click a checkbox, be available on mobile. It's mostly free, and there's some premium. So 80% of our catalog is available for free. Our premium games are subscription and revenue shared 70-30 the publisher's way. So premium's not what we're going to focus on today, because we find that the premium paywall actually prevents a lot of people from playing your game, and if you're trying to get your Kickstarter played, then it's probably not what you want to be doing. We get 500,000 unique users a month, over 100,000 active players. Our top games see roughly 4,000 hours of playtime and thousands of players, and that's in a month. And so we also get additional boosts from when we have events like Gen Con, such as now, and we'll be doing UK Games Expo, and we'll be doing Essen Spiel. So we get a lot of traffic increase during those times. Now, this is what 1 month of Tabletopia looks like on the platform. So you can see here, these are our top 10 games for the previous month. I got this screenshot from our backend last night. So as of last night, this is the up-to-date 1 month's worth of play. And you can see here that Secret Hitler is our most popular game. 163 days of playtime, which is insane. It's actually very popular in Russia. And people couple that with Discord, and they'll do video and voice chat over it. We actually have a Secret Hitler session tomorrow night, if you'd like to join that. Now, it's one thing that's interesting about these high player counts. Most of these Stonemaier games that you can see here are actually premium games, and therefore games being played by our paid and premium members. So it's really interesting that they're able to have that sort of pull despite being behind the paywall. Now, this is obviously not applicable for when you have a Kickstarter, but once you have a successful game that you want to push further, it's really an option you should consider. And trust me, I'm a doctor, was a small Kickstarter. Shout out to the Aussie devs who made it, represent. It only had about 900 backers, but it blew up on Tabletopia. We cannot explain it. I think it's just the phenomenal marketing they did, but it's also a social deduction game. So I think we're kind of seeing a trend there of who tends to like what on Tabletopia. Now, you're in good company if you join Tabletopia. We work with a lot of companies. We have a lot of people who are on board and working with us, and all games on Tabletopia are official and officially licensed. So you won't find any games. You won't find any unofficial mods on Tabletopia. So that's a standard we like to uphold, and we think it sets us apart. Here's some quotes from some fantastic people who've used the service. Jamie Stegmaier, obviously a big supporter of Tabletopia, as all his games seem to do very well here. We've also got Vital, who has all his big heavy hitters on here, and Ryan Lawcott likes to put his games on too. So let's talk about the benefits of Tabletopia for Kickstarter campaigns. Now, please excuse me, I think you may be able to hear my neighbor's dog, but we'll press through that. That's the realities of how we're presenting things right now. So one thing that's really great is your backers can try before you back. These three games were very recent or current Kickstarters. And you can see here, Lizard Wizard and Mission to Planet Hex have 192 hours of playtime. Mission to Planet Hex and Lizard Wizard both just launched. I believe Lizard Wizard funded in like 2 hours. Mission to Planet Hex is well on its way, and they're doing very well. And you may have seen the recent Kickstarter, Perseverance, the new David Turksey game. That thing was crazy. 1.700 hours of 100 hours of or 1.7k of playtime, and that was before this game's even out. It was just a prototype on Tabletopia, but backers had the chance to play it, and it meant that they got their hands on this game, and a lot of people got to play it. So as you can see, like, the hype you can build before your game's even out is really something that we're excited about you being able to do. Now, let's look at a case study. This game was Masters of the Night. So what they were able to do was put their game on Tabletopia and get a lot of feedback from backers. So with that feedback, they were able to actually implement a couple of rules changes to the game, and it made the game better. So, it started popping up in the Kickstarter comments once they had their Tabletopia mod up. And, you know, they would get the occasional comment, and then the next comment, and the next comment, and the next comment, and the next comment. And as you can see, all of these backers piled on with their playtesting data, 25 games from this Benjamin guy. Well, ultimately, they put out an update where they were able to make rules changes, balance the game a bit better. And so if you want a really streamlined way and really accessible way to just get bulk playtesters and for free, it is nice to pay your playtesters. But if these are just excited fans, you know, that's definitely one way to go about it. So being on Tabletopia will allow you access to a lot of playtime data that you may not already have. It's an opportunity to promote. So we can announce, feature, demonstrate your game to your audience. And we do regular live streams with designers as well. So on this very Twitch channel is actually where I host design playthroughs. And I invite the designers on. I'll have a content creator if possible. And we can just play the game and we can show it off. You can look at some of our previous playthroughs on this Twitch channel afterwards. And we can also host learn and play events. So these learn and play events will allow people to try the game after watching the designer explain the rules of the game. So Board and Dice will have done quite a few on our Twitch channel, and we've had pretty good success with them. We get about 70, 80 people playing the game at a time, joined by David Turksey or joined by Stella from Maple University, and they'll have the rules taught to them, followed by going into our Discord server, and they'll play the game for themselves. So that's also something we can arrange. Tabletopia has a low barrier to entry. All it takes to share Tabletopia is a web link, and that's very important. There's no additional software to install, nothing else you need to purchase. It seriously takes 30 seconds to join a game. You may have already experienced it this weekend, but all you need to do to work with Tabletopia and get someone else into the game is start a game lobby, share that web link, and they can just hop in, even if they have a free account or a guest account, which is brilliant. It's very accessible, and I think it's one of the easiest ways to get people just to fiddle around with your game. And like I said before, all Tabletopia games are official. So all games publicly in our catalog are official. And this consistency means your players are getting the experience the designer wants you to have. So we make sure that every game is vetted. And we make sure that every game actually comes from the developer or designer. And we ensure that the rights holders are happy with the game before we hit public. And that's just sort of a way that we maintain a consistency and quality. And we hope that standard sets us apart and allows gamers to see that we're a reliable platform based on what the publishers want. Okay. There are 5 steps that I sort of like to talk this through. So it's getting your game on Tabletopia before you launch, promoting with us, promoting outside of Tabletopia, and then getting creative with your Tabletopia implementation. So the first thing is to get your game on Tabletopia. I actually want to talk about, though, what games are not suitable for Tabletopia. So real-time games are obviously a problem. Dexterity games, there's no major physics engine in Tabletopia. So it's probably not applicable for those kind of flick games. Like Flick 'em Up wouldn't work at all on Tabletopia. Pure deck builders are okay, but they can be fiddly if it's a game like Dominion, for example, where you have to constantly shuffle and cycle. And it is doable, but it can be a bit fiddly. If there is a deck building element to your game, that's completely fine because players don't have to do it. But if it's the core gameplay, it can be a bit fiddly. There are some creative workarounds, though, so we're happy to discuss that. And the other thing is where you need to show your hand secretly to other players. Now, it can be done. You can have cards in a hand, you can flip them, you can place that card on a table, flipped, another player can pick it up, look at it, flip it, place that card back on the table, and you can pick it up back into your hand. It is possible, it is a little fiddly. And so again, make sure that the player experience isn't detrimental by it being shown on Tabletopia. You want players to be able to enjoy your game and see it for what it is. Now, obviously, there are exceptions where players can go, oh, well, that's just because it's on Tabletopia, but I understand this would be fun. And that's totally acceptable, but you need to make sure that you're not detracting from what your backers would enjoy about the game by them being frustrated. Of course, we have a lot of workarounds and we have a lot of features that can sort of make things a bit better. So we're happy to discuss how your game might work. We're in talks at the moment, for example, with a trivia game that has a lot of physical challenges. Not trivia game, a party game that has a lot of physical challenges. And we've actually discussed how we can change those challenges and reword them to be workable over video chat. So what about games? We have a question. What about games where a hand is not private in the first place? A hand is not private in the first place. Oh, then that's completely fine. You can obviously just lay it out on the table, and so that's not an issue at all. Yeah. So if you get your game on Tabletopia, creating a game is free in our workshop tool. There's no programming or coding required. If you actually look on this Twitch channel, you'll be able to see that our previous live stream with me, I actually built a game completely from scratch. Took 2.5 hours, but that was honestly a little slowed down by me talking out loud and answering Twitch questions, and it was a really fun process. And if you want to see a game just go from artwork and graphics and just little random components on your computer into Tabletopia, then I would suggest you check that out. Now, if you've done the bulk of the work, if you've made the game, our support team is pretty responsive and they're more than happy to help you get it over the line. So let's say you've done 80% of the work, but you just can't work out how this mechanic fits in. Why don't these cubes go where they're supposed to? We'll definitely be able to help you. The other option is we have a paid implementation service. So I know time can be a bit of a commodity for people where it's not worth it to them to spend their time learning our platform. That's no problem. Once we charge $300 US for that, and once we've made the game, we then hand over the control to you. So the game goes under your account and you have full control with it as if you had made the game completely from scratch. So once your game is created, you'll email us to get it listed, and you have full control over how long the game is up, what setups are available. You can pull it if you really want. You can re-upload it once you've made changes. You can make a demo intro setup, which is good for story or campaign games. So, for example, Detective Episode 6 is actually on Tabletopia, which is previously a print and play bonus episode, but they use it as an introductory standalone episode to introduce people to the world of Detective. You can also quickly replace art. So, for example, if you have prototype art during your Kickstarter and then you get to the final production stage and now you have really nice shiny art, you can absolutely just replace all the assets very quickly without even having to change anything about the mod. And we can quickly re-announce updated games as well. So I run the social media and I run the newsletter communication. I'm more than happy to, if there's been a big overhaul of your game, or you've added an expansion, or those 100 stretch goal cards got added in, we're more than happy to re-announce that your game has now been made super. So before you launch, you want to integrate Tabletopia into your marketing strategy and think about how it fits as one piece of the jigsaw. Let people know on your social media and newsletter about your Tabletopia mod. If your game is live, you can also post a Kickstarter update, and this is something that can give you content as well. I know, having run a Kickstarter myself, that the 28 days might not seem like a lot, and you'll be like, there's so many things to talk about. There's my artwork, and there's the mechanics, and there's the rules, but honestly, you will be struggling for content at one point, and it's really nice to have something big that you can push and talk to people about, and get out there in a way that excites people to re-engage with your game, especially because you're going to be there for 28 days. Anyone who backed in day 3, you still want talking about your game on day 15. You can add a banner to your Kickstarter page as well. So a lot of recent Kickstarters have added the Tabletopia link in their Kickstarter page, and that's a nice way to get eyes on it. If someone's deciding about playing your game, maybe putting it next to the rules section and saying, here, you can try the game for yourself right now. And we also have a widget that's useful for integrating into your website. If you have a good web presence with your website, you can add that widget in, which will allow you to either play the game or go back the game. So there are multiple places to put your game if you promote with Tabletopia. We can put it on the front page. We can do a news post. We can do a social media post about it, or a few if we like it. And we can also do newsletter highlights. So you can see here on the right, we send out our weekly newsletter and we highlight some of our favorite games. So that leads to what I think is a question a lot of people have. It's the big question, sir. And it's, how do I get on the front page? How do I get featured as a news post? And how do you decide what you live stream?
Just to say, I love
It's a very
this host.
simple answer
He's
to that.
been
Well,
through
sort
a
of
couple
simple,
panels I've
not really
watched, and I
simple,
love this guy.
but I think we
He
can
really
be pretty
holds
clear
my
with it.
attention
And the
during the
answer
panel.
is, the secret is to make an exciting game that gives us something to talk about. To put it bluntly, we want to celebrate games that bring people to our platform and make them want to play. So we want people on our platform. If you have a game that's exciting, the artwork is pretty, the gameplay is unique, if there's something we can hook about it, we would love to push it because we want people to experience cool new things and, as a side effect, come to our platform. There's no algorithm to it. There's no special way to game it, honestly. It's sort of just figuring out the things that are exciting and actually letting us have the chance to put them out there. It's kind of similar, by the way, to how Kickstarter has their projects we love. The answer to how to get a projects we love is make the Kickstarter team that arbitrarily selects it excited about it. There's no answer beyond that. So, You can also promote with Tabletopia by hosting a learn and play event, which I talked about earlier. These include the designer and publisher teaching the rules content with a content creator as a guest. And then participants meet each other in the Discord to be match made. And this is a really nice thing. We do this with Board and Dice, and we've had other content creators do it as well. We'll be doing it with Lizard Wizard next week, I believe. We've got a few in the works, but approach us ahead of time because we need time to prep those. But they can be very fruitful. We also regularly do Twitch streams on our channel with designers as guests and as well as content creators. So recently I had Ross from More Games Please on. We had Gil do a takeover, Gil Hover from Formal Ferret Games do a takeover of the channel. And he had Semi Co-op on, which was Rochelle and Heinze. I'm really bad at their Scandinavian names. The Semi Co-op artists. And we also did Intrepid. We had Calvin Wong, who you may have seen in Crazy Rich Asians. He's a prolific board game writer as well as an actor. So
that's really cool.
We can connect with people, and if you have people that you can connect with, we also would love to have them on board. The more eyes we can get on the project or get on our Twitch stream, the more exciting it is for us. Now, if you can't afford to get a demo copy of the game to reviewers, some content creators are happy to do previews of the game digitally. So you can promote the game outside of Tabletopia. These can be done in private play zones ahead of time, meaning the game doesn't have to be listed publicly. The game can be a private link which you send to the content creator while they make their video in the background, and then maybe you can post it publicly. Now, one thing I want to emphasize, and this is sort of up for debate, but the honest answer is it's sort of not up to us to decide the efficacy of, but it's up to your audience to decide. Previews are fine. Rules videos are fine. A playthrough video is fine. Reviews are still up for debate. And I can understand the argument where the actual thing that you're going to end up backing is a physical game. And if they can't give a full analysis of how these components feel and why if your double layer player board doesn't slot in properly, why is that an issue? Or how fiddly is it on the game board? I can understand why a review wouldn't be seen as acceptable to a lot of audiences. And again, you may be fine with it, but a lot of your audience is probably not fine with it. So Tabletopia version also means getting the game to content creators remotely. They can do live streams, they can do playthroughs, tutorials, anything that you couldn't do. I've just got a little clip here from Maple University, who recently did a rules overview of Victim, the Cursed Forest. And we're just going to play you a little clip from that right now.
In Victim, the players are survivors whose plane has gone down in a dark and mysterious forest. Initially, they will explore cooperatively, but after 2 or 3 rounds, one player will be possessed by a terrifying evil. For the rest of the game, it's a battle between the victims, who will search to find the safety of the bunker and the secret code to get in, and the evil, who will try to hunt them down and kill them before they can get to safety. Each victim takes 2 actions per turn, and most actions are resolved by rolling a number of dice equal to the relevant stat.
So as you can see, it's a really easy way for them to actually try out the game and make sure that people get to see it. Which,
we enjoy
is what you want, right?
And
you want eyes on the game, and if you can
if
show
we
off
can't
the
get a
game,
physical copy, we usually
even
use
if
that
they can't
first,
physically
and then
hold
we
the game,
usually get
that's
a
still a
physical
really
copy
nice way
afterwards
to
and review it
talk to
again.
your audience. Now, the other thing I want to say is get creative. So we've had a couple of examples of people using their Tabletopia implementations and doing really cool things with them. So Maharaja, for example, had a stretch goal based on Tabletopia playtime. They looked for 150 hours of playtime on Tabletopia. The game actually ended up seeing 500 hours of play before the end of its Kickstarter, which was phenomenal. They smashed that goal out of the park. But it encouraged people to play the game and actually get their hands on it. And it's a bit easier than P&P downloaded 100 times. With this one, you actually can track that people are going to be playing your game. With a Smile and a Gun recently hosted an online tournament using the Tabletopia version. So up for grabs was a copy of the physical game when it funded, and Tabletopia Premium as a prize. And the final was actually live streamed on our Twitch channel, and the play-by-play was done by the designer and the publisher. So that was a really fun sort of interactive way to talk to the backers,
and he's a really
and
cool
also
guy, too.
encourage people to play the game. They're also currently hosting a bunch of solo challenges right now, which are essentially chances for people to take a predefined setup of the game and see what the best score they can get with it is. And I think it's a really nice interactive way. You might have seen some other Kickstarters like Gloomhaven, for example, Frosthaven, excuse me, did challenges where they would say, here's the board state, can you win in 3 moves? And that's fun, but why not actually get people to play the game for real and see how they do? So there are definitely ways you can toy around with your Tabletopia implementation and allow people to experience it and engage with it. So what's in the future? We have website widgets that allow you to host games, and see open rooms and look at scheduled upcoming games. So these widgets will then display, this Kickstarter has a game open with 2 seats and it's scheduled for at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And that way people can join in the games and actually interact with the games more and try them. We're also working on email capturing after playing the game. So once people have played the game, toyed around in the play space for a bit, they'll be encouraged to join your mailing list. And this is a feature we're really excited about. We're trying to make sure it's done organically and not in a way that's obtrusive. We want people to be able to still enjoy your game and not feel spammed. But email capturing is definitely something we're very excited about implementing. We're going to have web notes and text input, so there'll be free-form fields people can put text or write in or scribble in, and we'll have scoring sheets as well that can be free-form written in. And we're also going to do a bit of increased tablet support. Oh, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate that. The increased tablet support. Now, one thing we're really keen about, and this is just an example, but there's a lot of ways you can play with it, is we're going to have the play space on your tablet and your private hand, available on your smartphone. So you can actually interact between the 2 devices. And we want to give more application to those things that are physically present and justify using them, right? So on the one hand, you can just play on your tablet and move pieces around, but why not have a separate device that allows you to interact with the game in a much more convenient way? Now, does Tabletopia support hidden areas or a place where users can do stuff like hide a hand of dice?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So if you look at a bunch of games that support this, like Guildmaster by Good Games Publishing, for example, has a feature called a hidden zone, where essentially if you're programming it from your perspective, it's got a front and a back. And when the front is visible, it means anyone can see what is on that board. And when you flip that board to the back, it is only visible to the player who it belongs to. So we do have a thing called hidden boards. It is currently a beta feature. It is available upon request. So if you need something like that, you can absolutely email us, and it is something we can implement. But we don't have it available publicly yet because we're just working out the kinks there. But it's pretty close.
They did say that
so hidden zones are
in their
definitely
panel.
something that can be used. Thank you for joining, everyone. This has been fantastic, and we're right on time. If anyone else has any more questions, please don't hesitate to shoot us a message. I run the Tabletopia social media account, and so I can answer any questions if you shoot us through on Facebook or Twitter. I'm Mark, so you can email me at mark@tabletopia.com if you have any specific questions that are more detailed. Where are the Tabletopia servers located? I believe we use Cloudflare. So Cloudflare has multiple hosting locations. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot them through to me. And for now, enjoy the rest of Gen Con. Thank you very much and have a good day.
And that'll be the end of the panel for us. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye, guys.